Cheese. It's been branded as too fatty, salty, and indulgent for decades. Something you might enjoy in moderation, but certainly not something you'd expect your doctor to recommend for better health, especially after 65. But what if I told you that the right kinds of cheese could be one of the most powerful tools to keep your muscles strong and functional well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond? It sounds almost too good to be true. A little wedge of creamy goodness standing guard against the silent thief of strength known as sarcopenia. Yet, when chosen wisely, certain cheeses deliver the nutrients your aging muscles crave: complete proteins, amino acids like leucine, and minerals that keep muscle fibers contracting efficiently. And yes, this isn't just old wives' tales or marketing hype. We're talking about benefits supported by respected medical sources like the Mayo Clinic, Harvard Health, and the NIH. Now, here's why this matters so much. After 50, muscle loss isn't just about losing definition in your arms or legs. It's about losing the ability to carry your groceries without effort, climb stairs without pausing, or get up from a chair without feeling like it's an athletic event. Those little daily movements add up, and the muscle you keep today will decide how independent you are 10 or 20 years from now. I've spent almost 3 decades working with men and women over 50, and I can tell you this. Most people think muscle loss is inevitable. They assume it's just part of getting older. But the truth, you can fight it, and sometimes even reverse it, with smart nutrition and consistent activity. And that's where cheese becomes such an unexpected hero. This isn't about adding random slices to your sandwich or overloading your pizza. We're talking about 3 cheeses: cottage cheese, Parmesan, and ricotta, each with unique muscle-preserving superpowers. Together, they form a kind of cheese defense team for your body. One gives you long-lasting protein release, another packs nutrients into small portions, and the third delivers a quick protein hit right when your muscles can use it most. I know, cheese doesn't usually make it onto lists of superfoods for healthy aging. You might have been told to avoid it because of fat or sodium. But when you look past the headlines and dig into the research, you'll see a very different picture. Properly portioned and paired with the right eating strategy, these cheeses aren't just safe, they can be transformative. So, in the next few minutes, we will challenge old assumptions. We'll explain exactly why each cheese works, how to use them to your advantage, and when to eat them for maximum impact. Along the way, I'll share stories from my patients, men in their late 60s who've gone from struggling to lift a bag of mulch to confidently tackling weekend projects again. Grab a pen if you're over 50 and you've noticed your strength slipping, or you simply want to protect the muscle you still have. Because once you understand what these 3 cheeses can do, you'll never look at your fridge the same way again. Before we dive into the cheeses themselves, we need to talk about the enemy we're trying to beat: sarcopenia. It's a medical term that might sound abstract, but if you're over 50, chances are you've already felt its effects. Sarcopenia is simply the gradual loss of muscle mass, strength, and function as we age. According to the National Institute on Aging, adults can lose 3 to 5% of their muscle mass per decade after age 30, and the decline accelerates after 60. The Mayo Clinic points out that sarcopenia isn't just about looking less toned, it's directly linked to reduced mobility, a higher risk of falls, slower recovery from illness, and even shortened lifespan. Think about it this way: muscle is like your body's engine. It doesn't just move you around, it also stores energy, supports your joints, helps regulate blood sugar, and even plays a role in your immune system. When muscle shrinks, every single daily task gets harder. Climbing stairs feels steeper. Carrying laundry feels heavier. Getting up from the couch takes more effort than it used to. The tricky part is that sarcopenia is silent. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly notice, "I've lost muscle." It happens gradually, often so slowly that you only realize it when you struggle with something that used to feel easy. Maybe it's carrying a suitcase, opening a jar, or holding a squat while gardening. And here's the kicker: inactivity worsens it, but even active people aren't immune. That's because aging muscles don't respond to protein as they used to, a phenomenon researchers call anabolic resistance. Your body needs more amino acids to trigger the same muscle-building response you had in your 20s and 30s. This is where nutrition becomes critical. Exercise is essential for muscle health, but your muscles can't repair and grow without the right building blocks, the proteins and amino acids your body can easily absorb. Harvard Health emphasizes that the timing, type, and amount of protein all matter, especially after 50. Unfortunately, most older adults are unknowingly sabotaging themselves. What is the typical breakfast for someone over 65? Toast, coffee, maybe a little fruit, about 8 grams of protein. Compared to the 25-30 grams experts recommend stimulating muscle protein synthesis in older adults, it's easy to see why muscle loss accelerates. The good news? You can slow, stop, and in many cases reverse sarcopenia by combining the right kind of strength-building activity with targeted protein intake. And you don't have to overhaul your entire diet to do it. This is why the three cheeses we're about to explore are such a game changer. They're rich in high quality, complete proteins, are easy to prepare and digest, and fit into everyday meals without complicated cooking. For many of my patients, they've been the missing link between trying to eat healthy and building back strength. So now that you understand the challenge, let's meet the first member of our muscle-preserving cheese defense team. A soft, humble, often underestimated dairy hero that's been quietly helping older adults for decades: cottage cheese. Cottage cheese might not be the flashiest item in your fridge. Still, it's a quiet powerhouse for men over 50 trying to protect or rebuild muscle. Cottage cheese would win if there were a Most Valuable Player award for senior-friendly protein foods. Here's why. Half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese delivers around 14 grams of high-quality protein for only about 80 calories. That means nearly 70% of its calories come from protein, a far better ratio than most dairy products. Compare that to cheddar, where only about a quarter of the calories come from protein, and you start to see why cottage cheese is in a league of its own. But it's not just about the quantity of protein, but the quality. Cottage cheese is rich in leucine, one of the essential amino acids that plays a starring role in muscle building. Consider leucine the ignition key for your muscle's growth engine. Without enough, your body's ability to build or repair muscle is like a car without a spark plug. It just doesn't start. Research shows older adults need about 3 grams of leucine per meal to trigger muscle growth effectively. One serving of cottage cheese gets you roughly a third of the way there. What makes cottage cheese even more special is its casein protein content. Casein is a slow-release protein that digests gradually over 6 to 8 hours, supplying your muscles with a steady stream of amino acids. For someone over 50, this is huge. It's like setting up a nutrient drip for your muscles all day long. This slow digestion is beneficial if you eat it at night, because it can reduce the muscle breakdown that naturally occurs while you sleep. Another big plus? Cottage cheese is straightforward to eat and digest. Many older men find it hard to chew tougher protein sources like steak or chicken breast, especially if they have dental work or decreased appetite. Cottage cheese is soft, creamy, and can be eaten straight from the container or mixed into other foods with almost no preparation. In my experience with patients, this convenience factor turns cottage cheese from "I know it's good for me" into "I eat it every day." You can pair it with berries for breakfast, stir it into a vegetable salad for lunch, blend it into smoothies, or use it as a spread instead of mayonnaise. The science backs this up. A British Journal of Nutrition study found that older adults who consumed cottage cheese before bed had improved overnight muscle protein synthesis compared to those who didn't, without adverse effects on metabolism or fat storage. In plain English, they built muscle while they slept. I recommend 1/2 to 1 cup daily, ideally at breakfast or before bedtime. If you're watching sodium, look for low sodium or no salt added versions. Some brands have over 400 milliliters per serving, while others come in at under 100 milliliters. In short, cottage cheese gives you high-quality protein that's easy to digest, leucine to trigger muscle growth, slow-release casein for long-lasting nourishment, flexibility to fit into sweet or savory dishes. Now that you know why cottage cheese is a nutritional powerhouse, let's talk about the fun part, how to enjoy it. Because if you don't like the way it tastes or feels, you won't eat it consistently, and consistency is what makes it work. One of the great things about cottage cheese is its versatility. Depending on your preferences, you can make it sweet, savory, smooth, or chunky. And for men over 50, especially those with dental issues or reduced appetite, it's easy to adapt, so it's gentle on both the teeth and digestion. For breakfast, fruit bowl upgrade. Scoop 1 to 2 cup of cottage cheese into a bowl, top with blueberries, strawberries, or sliced peaches, and drizzle with a bit of honey. You'll get protein, antioxidants, and natural sweetness without refined sugar. Protein smoothie. Blend 1 to 2 cup cottage cheese with a banana, a handful of berries, a splash of milk, and a pinch of cinnamon. The cottage cheese blends completely smooth, so you don't notice it's there. But your muscles will. Savory start. If you're not into sweet breakfasts, mix cottage cheese with chopped tomatoes, cucumber, fresh dill, and a pinch of black pepper. Serve it with whole grain toast for a balanced, protein-rich start to your day. For lunch, salad booster. Add a scoop of cottage cheese to a green salad or grain bowl. The creaminess acts like a built-in dressing. You'll add a serious protein punch without extra cooking. Spread or dip. Mash cottage cheese with avocado, lemon juice, and a little garlic powder for a creamy, protein-packed spread. Works great on sandwiches or as a dip for veggie sticks. For snacks, quick energy cup. Keep single-serve containers in the fridge to grab one after a walk or light workout. Nut and seed topper. Sprinkle sunflower seeds, walnuts, or almonds over cottage cheese to boost healthy fats and crunch. For dinner, casserole enhancer. Mix cottage cheese into baked pasta dishes or casseroles to boost protein without changing the flavor. Stuffed vegetables. Combine cottage cheese with herbs and stuff it into halved bell peppers or zucchini before baking. If the texture of cottage cheese bothers you, here's a trick I've taught many of my patients. Blend it until smooth. A quick 30 seconds in a blender or food processor turns it into a creamy, ricotta-like texture that you can use in dips, spreads, or even desserts. From a health perspective, be mindful of sodium content. If you have high blood pressure or are watching your salt intake, choose low-sodium brands. They can have less than 1/4 of the sodium of regular versions. And remember, the key is to make cottage cheese a daily habit. Think of it like a muscle-supporting supplement you enjoy as food. Whether in a smoothie, a salad, or just straight from the container, every serving is a small investment in keeping your body strong, steady, and independent. If cottage cheese is the steady, all-day provider of protein, Parmesan is the concentrated burst of nutrition that delivers significant benefits in small doses. Most people think of it as just a pasta topper. Still, for men over 50, authentic Parmesan, especially Parmigiano Reggiano, is one of the smartest cheeses you can keep in your kitchen. Let's start with its protein density. Just 1 ounce of Parmesan, about the size of your thumb or 2 tablespoons grated, contains over 10 grams of complete protein. That's one of the highest protein concentrations you'll find in any cheese, which makes it ideal for those who don't eat large portions anymore, but still need to hit their daily protein targets. But Parmesan's benefits go beyond protein. During its long aging process, 24 months or more for authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, natural enzymes break the proteins down into smaller peptides. This predigestion means it's easier for your body to absorb the nutrients, which is especially valuable as digestion becomes less efficient with age. This also explains why aged Parmesan contains virtually no lactose, making it a good option for people who are lactose intolerant. One nutrient in Parmesan that often gets overlooked is calcium. A single ounce provides roughly 331 mg, about 25% of your daily needs. Calcium isn't just about bone health, it's critical for muscle contraction. Every time you lift a grocery bag, climb stairs, or push yourself out of a chair, calcium is part of the chemical signal that tells your muscles to contract. Studies published in journals like Osteoporosis International have shown that low calcium intake can accelerate bone loss and muscle loss in older adults. Parmesan is also rich in phosphorus, another mineral essential for energy production and muscle repair. Combined with its high protein content, Parmesan delivers a 1-2 punch for maintaining bone density and muscle strength. Now, I know what some of you think. Isn't Parmesan high in sodium? Yes, it does contain about 350 mg per ounce, so if you have high blood pressure, you'll want to be mindful of your overall salt intake. That said, because Parmesan's flavor is so concentrated, you typically use much less than you would with milder cheeses, meaning you can still enjoy it without overdoing the sodium. When shopping, look for authenticity. Genuine Parmigiano Reggiano has a stamped rind with dotted lettering around the wheel. The flavor is richer, the nutrition profile superior, and you'll often need less to get the same satisfaction. Pre-graded versions in plastic containers can't match the quality and usually contain fillers like cellulose. Buy a small wedge and grate it fresh. You'll taste the difference immediately. The best part about Parmesan is that you don't need much to make a meaningful impact on your diet. An ounce or two daily can add a significant protein and calcium boost without adding hundreds of extra calories. Parmesan might be nutrient-dense, but it's also one of the most versatile cheeses you can use, which is why it's so easy to make it part of your daily routine without getting bored. The trick is to think beyond pasta and find ways to let Parmesan enhance flavor while boosting your protein and calcium intake. For breakfast, egg upgrade. Sprinkle a tablespoon of freshly grated Parmesan over scrambled eggs or an omelet. Combined with the protein from the eggs, this gives you a strong start to the day, often 20+ grams of protein in one meal. Savory oatmeal. Stir Parmesan into steel-cut oats with spinach and a poached egg for a surprisingly delicious high-protein breakfast. For lunch, salad topper. Instead of croutons, use thin Parmesan shavings over a spinach or kale salad. It adds flavor and texture without unnecessary carbs. Soup enhancer. Stir Parmesan into vegetable or bean soups just before serving. The salty, nutty flavor deepens the taste while adding protein. For snacks, Parmesan crisps. Bake small piles of grated Parmesan until golden and crunchy. They make an easy, portable, high-protein snack with zero carbs. Cheese and fruit plate. Pair small Parmesan chunks with apple slices or grapes for a balanced snack that combines protein, fiber, and natural sweetness. For dinner, vegetable gratin. Sprinkle Parmesan over roasted cauliflower or broccoli and bake for a crispy, savory crust. Protein boost for grains. Stir Parmesan into quinoa, farro, brown rice, and herbs for extra flavor and nutrition. One of the best things about Parmesan is its cost efficiency when used strategically. Yes, authentic Parmigiano Reggiano may seem expensive per pound, but a single wedge can last weeks because the flavor is so concentrated. Plus, The nutritional value per gram, especially in protein and calcium, makes it one of the most nutrient-packed foods you can buy. If you're concerned about sodium, you can balance your day by pairing Parmesan meals with fresh produce and other low-sodium foods. You can still enjoy its benefits without exceeding your daily salt limits. And here's a little chef's tip. Save the rind from your Parmesan wedge. When making soups or stews, drop the rind in while cooking. It infuses the dish with flavor. You can remove it before serving. No waste, maximum benefit. If cottage cheese is the slow burner and Parmesan is the nutrient concentrate, ricotta is the quick responder, the cheese that delivers fast-acting muscle support right when your body needs it most. Ricotta is unique because it's made from whey, the liquid leftover from making other cheeses. Whey protein digests and absorbs quickly, usually within 30 to 60 minutes, delivering amino acids to your muscles during their most receptive window. This makes ricotta especially valuable after any kind of physical activity, whether it's a light resistance workout, a brisk walk, or even just an afternoon of gardening. A half cup of whole milk ricotta serves you about 14 grams of protein, similar to cottage cheese, but with a different amino acid profile rich in branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs. These BCAAs, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, are particularly efficient at going directly to your muscle tissue without detouring through the liver, which speeds up the repair process. Another major advantage? Texture and digestibility. Ricotta is smooth, creamy, and naturally mild-flavored, which means it works for people with chewing or swallowing difficulties. It's also one of the lower sodium cheeses, with around 100 milligrams per half cup compared to over 400 milligrams in many others, a bonus for heart health and blood pressure management. And regarding heart health, ricotta has another edge. Whey protein has been linked in studies to modest reductions in blood pressure and improvements in specific cardiovascular markers. This is a powerful combination for men over 50 who want to build muscle without compromising their health. Here's how to bring ricotta into your meals. For breakfast, ricotta toast. Spread on whole grain toast with a drizzle of honey and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Fruit bowl. Mix with berries, sliced kiwi, or pineapple for a naturally sweet, protein-rich breakfast. For lunch, savory spread. Blend ricotta with herbs like basil or parsley and use it in wraps or sandwiches instead of mayonnaise. Protein dip. Mix with roasted red peppers and garlic for a creamy vegetable dip. For dinner, stuffed vegetables, fill bell peppers, zucchini, or eggplant with ricotta mixed with spinach and herbs, then bake. Pasta enhancer. Stir into tomato sauce for creaminess and extra protein without heavy cream. For snacks or dessert, healthy mousse. Blend ricotta with unsweetened cocoa powder and a touch of honey for a chocolatey treat that still delivers protein. Smoothie booster. Add to fruit smoothies for a rich texture and extra protein. If you want the maximum muscle-building benefit from ricotta, time it strategically. Within 2 hours after physical activity, that's when your muscles are most responsive to protein, and whey's quick absorption makes it the perfect fit. When it comes to building or preserving muscle after 50, what you eat is only part of the equation. When you eat it can make a surprising difference. Timing your protein intake correctly can mean the difference between slowly losing strength and actively building it. Let's start with the most overlooked meal, breakfast. After 8–10 hours of overnight fasting, your body is in a mild catabolic state, meaning it's breaking down muscle tissue for energy. This is normal, but it also means your first meal is a prime opportunity to switch from muscle breakdown to muscle building. Unfortunately, most older adults get less than 10 grams of protein at breakfast. Toast, coffee, maybe a little fruit. That's nowhere near enough to stimulate muscle protein synthesis in aging muscles. Research from McMaster University and the NIH shows that older adults need 25-30 grams of protein at each main meal to trigger muscle growth effectively. Here's where our cheese strategy shines. Imagine starting your day with 1 or 2 cups of cottage cheese, topped with berries, and 1 ounce of freshly grated Parmesan. You've just given yourself roughly 24 grams of high-quality protein and over 2 grams of leucine, enough to kickstart muscle repair and growth before leaving the breakfast table. Protein distribution matters. Many follow the light-heavy pattern: barely any protein at breakfast and lunch, then a big slab of meat at dinner. The problem? Your muscles can only use about 25-35 grams of protein to build new tissue. Anything extra gets burned for energy or stored as fat. So if you eat 60 grams at dinner but barely anything earlier, you've wasted a key opportunity for muscle synthesis. Instead, aim for protein balance. Breakfast, 25-30 grams; lunch, 25-30 grams; dinner, 25-30 grams. Our cheeses fit beautifully into this approach because they're easy to measure, versatile, and quick to prepare. The anabolic window after activity. The other crucial timing moment is within 2 hours after physical activity, what researchers call the anabolic window. This is when your muscles are most sensitive to protein, making it the perfect time for ricotta with its fast-absorbing whey protein. Even light activity counts here. A brisk walk, yard work, or carrying groceries up the stairs can prime your muscles to soak up nutrients. Evening advantage. Don't overlook nighttime either. Eating a slow-digesting protein like cottage cheese before bed can help prevent overnight muscle breakdown, especially if you've been less active during the day. British Journal of Nutrition studies found that older adults who ate cottage cheese before sleep increased muscle protein synthesis overnight without affecting fat storage. So, the big takeaway is this: for men over 50, protein timing is just as important as protein quantity. You'll keep your muscles nourished around the clock by spreading your cheese servings throughout the day, especially at breakfast, post-activity, and before bed. Now that you understand the when of eating these muscle-friendly cheeses, let's nail down the how much. Getting the right amount is crucial. Too little, and you won't stimulate muscle growth. Too much adds calories without benefit. Step 1. Calculate your protein needs. For men over 50, most leading health organizations, including the Mayo Clinic, NIH, and Harvard Health, recommend 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily to maintain muscle mass. Here's the quick math. Take your weight in pounds and divide by 2.2 to convert to kilograms. Multiply that number by 1.2 for a strong muscle-preserving target. Example: if you weigh 170 lullubees, 170, 2.2, 77.3 kilos, 77.3 by 1.2, about 93 grams of protein per day. Step 2. Let cheese carry part of the load. You don't need to get all your protein from cheese. And you shouldn't. Variety matters for overall health. But cheese can easily provide 35 to 40% of your daily protein needs without much effort. Here's a practical breakdown. 1/2 cup cottage cheese, 14 g protein. 1 oz Parmesan, 10 gram protein, 1/3, 1/2 cup ricotta, 9/14 gram protein, combining those across the day. Cottage cheese at breakfast, Parmesan at lunch, ricotta after activity. You're hitting 35 to 40 grams of high-quality protein just from cheese. That's nearly half your daily goal, and you can get the rest from lean meats, fish, eggs, legumes, or nuts. Step 3. Watch for health conditions. Lactose intolerance. Parmesan is virtually lactose-free, ricotta is low, and cottage cheese varies by brand. If you're sensitive, start with small portions or use lactase enzyme tablets. High blood pressure. Parmesan and some cottage cheeses can be high in sodium. Look for low-sodium cottage cheese. Some brands have 100 mg per serving, and keep other salty foods in check. Cholesterol concerns. Current research shows moderate cheese intake doesn't significantly raise heart disease risk for most people. Still, if desired, you can opt for part skim ricotta or low-fat cottage cheese. Kidney disease. If you have reduced kidney function, talk to your doctor before increasing protein intake. Step 4. Keep portions consistent. One common mistake I see is eating cheese when you feel like it, rather than in a structured plan. Consistency is what produces results. Studies showing muscle improvements from cheese consumption typically ran for 60-90 days of daily intake. Think of it like taking a daily prescription for strength. Step 5. Combine with movement. Remember, protein alone won't magically build muscle. Pair it with resistance training 2 to 3 times per week. Body weight exercises, resistance bands, or light weights are enough. Even daily functional movements like squats from a chair or carrying groceries count. You've now got all the pieces, the why, the what, and the how much. So let's pull them together into a simple 90-day plan you can start today. This isn't complicated but powerful when you follow it consistently. Step 1. Stock your kitchen for success. Before tomorrow morning, make sure you have all 3 cheeses on hand. Low-sodium cottage cheese, authentic Parmigiano Reggiano. Buy a small wedge, not pre-grated. Whole milk ricotta with minimal ingredients. Step 2. Distribute your protein evenly. For the next 90 days, aim for 25-30 grams of protein at each main meal, with at least one of those cheeses included. Here's a sample day. Breakfast, 1 to 2 cup cottage cheese, plus fresh fruit, plus 1 TBSP chopped nuts. Lunch, soup or salad topped with 1 oz grated Parmesan post-activity snack, 1 to 2 cup ricotta with cinnamon and berries. Dinner, regular protein source, fish, poultry, beans, with vegetables, optionally topped with Parmesan or ricotta for extra protein. Step 3. Time your cheese strategically. Breakfast protein kickstarts your muscle building for the day. Ricotta, within 2 hours after physical activity, fuels quick muscle repair. Cottage cheese before bed provides slow-release protein overnight. Step 4. Move your body. 2 to 3 days a week, do 10-20 minutes of resistance exercises. Chair squats, wall push-ups, resistance bands, or light dumbbell work. On other days, aim for light activity. Walking, stretching, gardening. Step 5. Track and adjust. Keep a simple log of what cheese you ate, when, and any activity you did. After 30 days, check for changes. Are stairs easier? Is your balance better? Do you feel stronger carrying groceries? Here's my challenge for you. Commit to the next 90 days. Not when it's convenient. Not when you remember. But every day. You've just learned a strategy backed by science, trusted by doctors, and proven in real people over 50. Now it's time to put it to work for you. So here's what I want you to do right now. Write 90-day cheese challenge on your calendar starting today. Share this plan with a friend or family member. Having a partner doubles your chances of sticking with it. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the follow-up videos, where we'll dive into more age-defying nutrition strategies. Leave a comment below telling me your starting point, your age, goals, and which cheese you will try first. You've got 3 simple, delicious tools that can help keep you strong, steady, and independent for years. The only question left is, will you take the first bite?